Welcome to the Brag Effect, where we share easy-to-understand customer service tips from business owners and leaders that will help you get your customers bragging about you in all the right ways. Hi, I'm Mike Wells, and together with my co-host Michelle Adams. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Mike.
A big thanks for joining us.
Today we're talking with Chi Mai, the founder and creative director of Skin Studio Jewellery, a fine jewellery brand that focuses on high-quality, everyday jewellery that does not hurt or irritate your skin. Founded in 2018, Chi was tired of having her skin turn green from nickel and copper-based costume jewellery. She was so inspired to create a jewellery brand that could withstand everyday wear. You can wear Skin Studio jewellery to sleep, in the shower, and even whilst working out. Now a $1 million business, Chi has never been happier. But how did she start? What challenges did she have along the way? Let's dive in and find out. Chi, I am so excited to talk to you today. When I first reached out and you said yes to the interview, I thought I jumped online and started to research your brand, and I had to buy some. So I bought some earrings.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see them.
Oh, they look beautiful. They look nice and dainty and very cute.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that really inspired me was the whole, you can just wear them in the shower, you can wear them every day, and you can wear them, when you work out to bed, because that's been a real sort of struggle for me too, because you don't want to wear your best, earrings every day. And, it's really hard. There's such a big distance between that costume jewelry and that, really fine, expensive jewelry. Yeah. So, yeah, really sort of keen to hear why that was important for you and how did you discover that niche?
Okay, well, I really think it's coming down to one phrase. It's everyday luxury. So I love jewelry, and I feel like a lot of women and men also feel more beautiful and feel more themselves when they either wear like a nice outfit, or they put some makeup on for the day, or put on a ring, or put on a pair of earrings, and it just makes them feel a lot better. And I feel like that can be given to you every day, and you don't have to take it off. And the part about the poor quality was just one aspect of why it inspired me, or it motivated me to create the business. But the other part that I really, really wanted to come across was the emotional side of jewelry. I think it's really important that we celebrate that in our everyday lives. So yeah, I've always loved fashion. I've always loved creative businesses. I had one when I was in Vietnam, actually selling studded denim. So jewelry was just something that I fell into because of an experience that I had. But I think in terms of what was the catalyst for me to kind of open the business, it was definitely something to value myself and kind of immerse into every day, or the idea of everyday luxury. Yeah.
Love that. So I really would love you to share your story. When I was researching, I heard that you had moved from Vietnam to Australia in 2014 to study commerce. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then while you're completing your degree, you realized that, you were striving for a job that would be stressful, long hours, and, potentially travel. And so was it in the last few weeks of your degree, you let go of everything? Tell me that story. Share that with us.
So I grew up in a very traditional Asian household that, success is defined very much by what you do and what career you choose. And so I had these notions of myself that I needed to achieve certain things and be in a certain career at the end of my uni degree in order to, make my parents proud, make myself proud. And that was the main source of unhappiness in that certain in that stage, last stage of my uni degree, I really wanted to become a management consultant because it was a career that was really highly sought after. And it was me, and it was just, I got knocked back also for every single job that I applied for. So clearly I am not cut out for it.
The universe was trying to send you a message.
I think so. It's just a blessing in disguise, because I then took some time to kind of reflect on what I've spent time doing and what I really love doing. And that's really something that's creative. And I spent some time in country Victoria, where my husband is originally from, and I really immersed myself in nature and family, kind of like the slow life of the country. And I realized I felt incredibly happy doing that. And I did a lot of designing during that time. Like I said, I've always loved fashion. I've always loved doodling, like drawing, all that stuff. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll just like take some time off. I still had like a part-time job during that time, so I was able to afford to do that. But yeah, like I guess as time went on, and actually the story behind Skin was because my husband bought me a necklace on an online Instagram retailer for an anniversary. I loved it. Like the design was beautiful. But he gave it to me for the anniversary, and after wearing it for a week, it started tarnishing and it gave me a rash. And I realized then that there is a niche for sensitive skin jewelry, or like long-term, like really durable quality jewelry that doesn't cost hundreds of dollars. And I just thought, okay, this is my calling. Jewelry is something that I've always loved, and is so valuable and so loved by everyone. And so I decided to follow my creative roots, and this is now my career, and I'm so happy that I made the switch.
So that's, I mean, to be able to, like, what was it? I mean, that was the experience that you had that kind of was the catalyst for you. But, you know, to look back at that journey and, you know, be able to have that, what was the mindset, or was it someone that said something inspiring for you just to kind of go, let's go for it. Really want to follow my passion.
That's a really good question. So I think it comes down to, well, the mindset when I had back then and now as a business owner has been something that I've really had to learn to adapt. I'm someone that's very self-critical of myself, and during such a time when I was really like gunning for a particular job and particular career, it was so devastating to me that I wasn't able to get the jobs that I needed to, or the interviews, and it affected my mental health quite a lot. And I learned a lot about myself during that time, that I don't do well in corporate situations. And this was an opportunity. The business was an opportunity to me, for me to kind of explore what it would be like to work for myself. And there was really no other option for me to, rather than just jump in and do it. And I think back then I was only like 22. So it was just really like my lack of fear, also my naivety, maybe. That was like, okay, I can do this. And if I put my mind to something, I tend to be very stubborn-headed and go for it. But in terms of like the mindset to convert myself from, oh, it's just an idea, to something that is actually tangible, I had a lot of support. I think you can't do it by yourself. That particular, like that first part of the business where you have to jump through the hurdles, you have to do your research, you have to come up with the ideas, you have to spend your time to make a website, you know, you have no budget either. it's a lot of that time for me was learning, and I was motivated by learning. And every day I would just give myself one small task or one thing that I need to learn how to do. I like taught myself Facebook ads. I like watch YouTube, how to do Shopify. And it was just a time of like, okay, well, I have nothing better to do. I'm going to learn something that I actually like doing. And if it does well, then I'll keep doing it. But if it doesn't, then I'll go get another job. So yeah, I think that was, the mindset I was in.
So, I mean, you've gone from starting a brand from scratch, to now $1 million business. I mean, congratulations. That's a huge,
You're very, very lucky.
Big well done. But it's not all smooth sailing. So what's one of the biggest challenges that you've found looking back at that time now that you could share?
Yeah.
How did you get through that?
Of course. So I think there's so many different stages from being a $0 business to a $1 million business. You've got your startup phase, which is, actually negative. Your business is worth nothing, and you've spent so much money into growing your stock levels or finding a manufacturer and making a website. And that period to me was a lot of trial and error. And what I found difficult was I had to prioritize because of that limited budget. I decided to do the things that I could do myself or learn myself, and then focus on the things that I couldn't do that would generate a positive ROI to pay someone else to do it. So, for example, I wasn't great at like graphic design, so I paid someone else to like do my logo, but I did a lot of the website myself because I'm quite tech savvy. So that was one problem that I thought that I could overcome. And then when you start up the business, for me, I started with making the jewelry myself. So manufacturing wasn't a big problem until maybe I grew in like 2 months, 3 months in, when I decided to go completely from scratch, producing things that I would draw from scratch. So then the whole world of manufacturing then was so overwhelming. I think like a lot of business owners will relate to the struggles of finding a good manufacturer, a good partner, a good person to go to because it's the basis of your brand if you're a product-based business. And I had an experience with my manufacturers that I'd love to tell. The first manufacturer I ever had, actually, like I put down a $5,000 deposit and they never replied to me. And I never saw anything come from that. But the good thing about that was I found a second manufacturer, pretty much the same country, same area in India. And they were so kind enough to then go back to the first manufacturer and say, hey, like you need to refund this person. You haven't delivered on what they've said. And they actually did that because the manufacturers didn't communicate well with me. So the second manufacturer was able to like speak in the language. And that was something that was very lucky. Most people won't be able to get that experience, but that's also the reason why that I've really valued this particular second manufacturer partnership with me, and I've stayed with them for as long as I have. But yeah, like the second challenge that I really ran through was finding a manufacturer that I could trust, and it's still an ongoing challenge because even when you get bigger, it's more so ensuring that you have a really steady supply chain. And I really learned the hard way in COVID last year when my factory that I just mentioned shut down for 8 months because India was so struggling in trying to handle their COVID-19 responses. And I had to pivot. So then I had to find a new manufacturer during that time, then going back to making my own jewelry and making a lot of it as well. So manufacturing is always an ongoing challenge. And people do that for a living. So that's just my experience that I would share. And then now going from manufacturing to now growing the business or maintaining and growing the brand, it's very different from when you started, because when you start, you sometimes see the exponential growth. You might see from 1 month to another 100% increase in growth if, let's say, one of your campaigns or one of your collections did really well. But for us, it's really important now that I have employees and I have like a physical store, and you've got to pay rent, and you've got all these outgoings. Cash flow is really important. So you then have to think about, okay, so it's not just the once-off campaigns. How do you engage your audience and your customers in order to create those momentums and ensure that those cash flow is like an ongoing success?
Well, congratulations on opening your retail store. That's exciting in Melbourne.
Yeah, Australia. So we've had this one since November, but it's very exciting news. We're going to be moving to a bigger one. So
wow.
That too.
And how did you get to that point of saying, okay, it's time to open retail?
You know what? I didn't intend to open retail. So I have always thought about the business as a way to kind of, I guess it's my baby. It's like the experience itself online was always surrounding me. And I wanted to kind of convert that to something that people can feel and experience in store. And so the retail was a great next step. But also I tied in with that. We have a retail space that is also an office space. When I moved out of my bedroom, my spare bedroom, I needed a space that I could have my employees come every day and my team be able to be very creative and be able to work out of the office that we have. So it was just a really natural next step. When you grow, it's just that's the next thing for me, and I'd like to do that.
That's awesome. I'll have to come and visit.
Yes.
So I love the little things that your brand does to make a big difference. And Skin Studio are committed to producing sustainable and ethical jewellery. So by supporting your business, how are we reducing our consumer footprint?
So sustainability has always been such a big part of what I do. And I think that stems from a lot of knowledge and also a lot of research about what we've been doing in climate change and all of that. And I want to do my part. So our commitment in terms of our jewellery and the whole business is to have ethical manufacturing, which means our products are only produced in small batches, and also produced in a certified factory. And we also take a very supply chain all-encompassing ethos. So it's not just about the jewelry; it's about the whole way that we do what we do. So it's sustainable packaging and sustainable materials. So things like recycled gold instead of gold. So all our factories are certified with the Responsible Jewellery Council, which is a really big organization that does social accreditation for the ethical and legal treatment of workers. And then for our business, we are also a member of 1% for the Planet. So we contribute 1% of our gross sales per year to help fund high impact non-profit organizations that work towards more sustainable futures. So I really think that's where retail is going to be heading, and it's non-negotiable for me. And I do hope that all of our customers realize that we're trying our best, and also it's really a process, a journey for us in order to get more sustainable. But if you're supporting the people who do this, which you should be, it really signals to the companies that you're doing something right and you should keep going. So yeah, something that I really prioritize in the business.
Yeah, I think we as consumers are, we very much now want to do business with or support businesses that are, either giving back or, have that ethical sustainability,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
priority for them. So, but then it's how do you communicate that in an effective way so that you've got that, your customers know that that's what's important to you. And I think that you do that really well.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is the customer experience. And having just purchased a pair of gorgeous earrings myself, I love the little touch points that I have personally experienced. That this gorgeous little, thank you card with the handwritten note that comes with the earrings and signed by you, and the email that then comes a couple of days later on how to take care of the pieces. And I really feel connected to the brand. And, we know that's what builds, loyalty and trust, particularly in e-commerce, with the retail aside. This can be challenging to build that trust and loyalty. Someone might find you on Instagram, or they might, buy a piece, but then how do you get them coming back, or that loyalty and trust? And I think you do a really good job of doing that. Is this something that you've learned along the way, or did you have a plan to do this from the beginning?
I've always really focused on the customer journey. It's such an important factor for me. When you start your business, someone told me this once, the business advice that I really took to heart, that you can only choose really to hone in on 2 out of 3 things for your business: your product, your price, or your customer service. And I chose product and customer service because it was a must-have for me. And the journey that I've had with like all the different online purchases that I have had, my online shopping experiences then informed me of the ways that, consumers are expecting out of their e-commerce brands. And so for me, it's the little things that I receive in my online orders that really spark joy and make the purchase that much more special. And I think that that's the defining factor between success for e-commerce and, I guess, not as a personal of a brand. And I feel like jewelry itself is a very storytelling based product, and the more you relate to the brand and the story, it's the more that you are invested and the more that you value and treasure the piece. And we really do think that I really do think that the connection between our customers and the brand and myself as a founder is what has helped us so much in crafting the stories and crafting such a beautiful community that we've had. So, for example, my team, we always endeavor to show ourselves. We never hide behind the curtain, and we are so present on social media because I do believe that people relate to people and they don't relate to a corporation. And also by doing that, we found that getting feedback from customers was so much more natural, and it contributed very, very positively to growing our business. So, for example, we would get ideas of new collections or what they've been looking for from polls or from Q&As or from even comments of just people saying, oh, I wish it was this or this, or yeah. And it's just really a great way to connect with your customers and be constantly listening out to their feedback.
Well, that was actually one of the questions I wanted to chat to you about was feedback. What are some of the ways that you're asking your customers or your audience for feedback? So you see and sounds like you're kind of doing that in a lot of different ways, whether it's engagement on social or, they're telling you what they're looking for and you're not even really having to ask.
Yeah, so I definitely think that brand is shaped so much by customer feedback because everything that we do in terms of customer service, but also design and supply chain and marketing. Everything is related to what that customer needs and what that customer wants. So we always listen, whether it's positive or negative. A lot of other jewelry that I've noticed, they don't collect reviews or they don't display them. We do. And on a regular basis, we also really focus on the polls and the Q&As to listen to what the consumers and the potential customers might want. And we also take on board all of these suggestions if they're sending out in DMs, when designing new collections. So in that way, our designs are very much shaped by the audience and the community. And obviously also on the day-to-day basis, you always have a forefront of this is what my customers are telling me that I should change or or any issues even that we are encountering in making orders or making the jewelry itself, we fix really, really quickly because we're able to be burst up, here's what they've said. Really in tune with the community.
So when you're coming up with a new design, before you even get to the stage of making them or sending them to manufacturing, you're doing polls and you're asking for feedback from your audience. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's great.
We always ask, what are you looking for? What are they really wanting to add to their jewelry box? What is something that they've seen that they wish that we could make, because we have so many loyal customers that just want to just support us. And we're really grateful for that, because those ideas then form what we then say, okay, well, we should be having more of this, or we should be having less of this. It's really valuable way and really helpful way to conduct business as well, because you don't exist without your customers. So putting your customers first is always what I've been doing.
That's awesome. So thinking about your team culture, what are some of the internal ways that you create that customer focused culture? Because obviously you have that's in your DNA. Mm-hmm. How have you created a situation so that your team are also focused on that?
Yeah, of course. The first thing first, we're really transparent. So everyone in the team knows when any customer feedback is shared. So we put the customers first. We put the customer in front of our minds in order to react quickly and provide the best experience possible. We also, as a team, have weekly meetings to discuss what our community is asking to see in terms of content, marketing, and we shape all of our marketing plans around these. And we also facilitate a lot of direct interaction with our customers through our retail stores. So it's really been integral in helping our team understand our customers' motivations, wants, and needs when they're shopping with us.
And so tell me about any future plans for growth that you've got. What's next?
Yeah, so I'm such a typical Virgo. I'm really a planner. So growth is definitely steady for Skin, and I'm really looking forward to moving to our new headquarters to a bigger space to accommodate the growth. And we're also going to be introducing some amazing in-store experiences from our success of our piercings party. And we also have a new collection that's coming soon that is focused around bridal jewelry, and we'll be moving into bridal consults. But yeah, beyond that, I guess we'll see.
Well, that's a lot.
It is definitely.
So if you were in front of an audience now of other businesses, what would be one piece of advice that you would offer?
Oh, that's really hard. I think I did talk about my mental health earlier, but I think that's the one thing that I would suggest to business owners. We often forget about ourselves, and I had a very, it's not traumatic, but it's very process to understand that my business is not a definition of me as a person. And I had a lot of difficulty around the first part of my first few months of my business, of it not picking up quick enough, or me expecting for it to grow faster than it would. And I guess wallow in those negative thoughts that, oh, I'm a failure because my business is failure. And I think that really like taught me something really valuable about running a business. That is, you are just, you're one person, you're human. It's okay to fail, and it's okay to move on. And if something you've tried doesn't work, move on to the next one and seek help if you need to. But yeah, constantly try to learn and take care of yourself, basically.
Oh, that's such good advice, because that is, you know, it's such a challenge. We have such high expectations of ourselves, and you put time and energy into your passion or your vision of how you want it to look. And we just need to be patient sometimes, don't we? And know that this is just part of the journey.
Yeah. And eventually this will pass, or, you know, the problems that you encounter, it'll pass and it'll be better. So just looking up and, you know, be positive and take care of yourself.
Oh, that's such great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chi. I've loved chatting with you today. And thank you for your sharing all about Skin Studio. And if people want to find you online, they can go to s-skin.com.au.
Yeah, that's right. And then we're also really active on Instagram. So come join us. It's at skinstudioj_.
Thank you, Chi.
The Brag Effect is brought to you by Brag Reviews, the review management software that helps businesses improve their reputations, one review at a time. Check it out at bragreviews.com.